Hasan versus Twomad? No, I haven't. What's going on there? Ethan? Are you talking about Ethan from H3H3 or what? Hassan Pecker. Did he tweet anything out about it? Oh, here we go. Well, there's like a couple of tweets. The fuck is happening here? Well, let's see. What's their issue? Oh, they're debating? Oh, here we go. Twomad called him out for a little bit of conspiracy memes. Yeah, I mean, it's a little like conspiracy theory-y. It's a little conspiracy theory-y. If you don't know what happened, basically Hasan tweeted this out yesterday, which is like Delta CEO asks CDC to cut quarantine time for breakthrough cases. So Delta was like, hey, yo, dog, can you like ease up on the protections, dog? Ahaha, hey. And the CDC afterwards did. Now, these two things aren't related. Yeah, I got the Ligma variant. Yeah, these two things are not related. The CDC did shorten it, the isolation period for quarantine. If I remember correctly, the reason why they did it is to ease up on the shortage of like doctors and nurses, right? So they don't have to spend so much time isolating so they can get back to work to help more people out in hospitals. I'm pretty sure like that's one of the reasons, because like the CDC's goal isn't always just health. Like the economy is important, right? It is important to a degree. Like grinding the economy to a halt can cause more issues in some ways. So it's always a balancing act between those two things. So at this point in time, I think it's just like business interests and the CDC's interests align. I don't think there was any like nefarious action going on here. I haven't seen any evidence to show like a causative relationship between like Delta and the CDC. Is Bessa coincidental? Yeah, like the coincidence is Delta asks and the CDC did shorten the time. Like, once again, here's the thing, okay? We can talk about this, but there doesn't have to be like a one-to-one conspiracy, okay? I remember this discussion when it comes to like MSNBC or like CNN, right? Or like something along those lines. I think, because a lot of progressives were talking about how like a lot of progressive thought gets shut down in like mainstream media, which is true. That does happen a lot. And a very like centristy and even like blue dog sort of like ideology gets pushed a lot. So when we talk about this, when it comes to like MSNBC or like CNN, it's like what people think when we say that there's like cooperation, there's like collusion or something to keep like progressive thought out. It isn't like they're like, oh, you're progressive, haha, we will now foil your plans. It's more like the environment that they build is just toxic to progressive thought and like progressive like ways of thinking in the country and the situation that we're in, right? It's a lot of like manufactured consent. It's a lot of gatekeeping by like the old guard type thing. It's not like an active sort of like curly mustache petting sort of like big chair and fireplace and on the penthouse evil lair type. CNN's headquarters is like a volcano base type, you know, the like evil plan going on. It's bent in a way that benefits business interests because that's how the system was made, right? It's kind of like systemic racism in that way, where not a single person can be like necessarily very hostile and like gatekeeping progressive thought a lot, but like the way the system was built is antithetical and toxic to progressive thought that gatekeeps them from even being in the conversation. So that's kind of like what's going on here, rather than like Delta, hello, it is me, Delta CEO, leader of CDC. It is time for you to dump it. You must dump all of the isolation quarantines. We must get more pilots. Dump it. We ask you this. And they're like, yes. And Delta's like, I see. We must now. We must. It's not like that. It's not like that. So I saw a little bit of this. I just didn't care about it much. So I didn't like say anything. I literally completely forgot about this when I started up the stream. So there's this, and now Twomad is like, Hasan, this is Alex Jones populism level, insinuating the Delta CEO brute force power influence forced the CDC to cut isolation time when the CDC via independent advisory signed off by many epidemiologists had already decided it to mitigate healthcare worker unavailability. Yeah, this is true. Oh yeah, I forgot, like, Oh yeah, no, nothing got blocked. Ripperino, cappuccino, blockerino, never come back. Ripperoni, poor. I didn't even think that this was going to be a comment worth a block, but apparently so. El Hasan responded. Hasan Piker, he responded. 1. Healthcare worker quarantine time was cut short 5 days before this decision. Is this true? Healthcare worker quarantine time. Twomad, he's like, imagine someone with ADHD and autism, but like they were a video. And that's like what Twomad's content is like. And anybody who's ever watched a Twomad video will not disagree with this assessment. The agency announced Monday that individuals with COVID-19 isolate for just 5 days if they are asymptomatic, down from the previous recommended 10 days, followed by 5 days of masking around other people. Okay. They cut quarantine time for healthcare workers 5 days before this decision. And then this was the 27th. So what am I looking for? The 22nd? Here, let's see. 6 days ago? 22nd, 23rd. So this is true. Quarantine time for healthcare workers amid Omicron surge. All right. They did cut it on the 23rd. This is true. This happened. All right. So this is true. And then we have this article from 2 days ago, that says the U.S. is going through yet another surge in COVID-19 cases, this time amidst the blah, blah, who cares? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The shortage of healthcare workers that could drive hospitals and clinics to the breaking point. Every healthcare institution I know has had countless healthcare workers who contracted COVID-19. To address the shortage, the CDC released it was an emergency guidance. Okay. It was an emergency guidance on the 23rd. So what seems to have happened is that they made it like an emergency guidance and then made it an official guidance. Is that right? Decreasing the time healthcare workers have to quarantine if they test positive. So yeah, they cut it again, it seems. They've just been shaving that quarantine time down, it seems. Here, let's see. So check Twomad tweets. I'm scared to scroll through Twomad tweets live on stream. So I will like look through them to see what's happening. He's like quote tweeting him. So is this what you wanted me to look at? In Twomad's tweets? Scientific name for pig? Sus Among Us? Is this it? Is this the content that we needed on the stream? I just want to be honest. No, the replies? Yeah. Here, we'll look at the replies. I want to go through this first. I just want to see what's true and what's fake, all right? And then we'll go through the replies. We're learning, chat? Yeah, we're learning. Unconventionally, the CDC never releases new data that shows it's safe to quarantine for 5 days with vague guidelines. Not just the Delta 2, but also governors influenced by commerce. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the CDC doesn't just take into account like the like we talked about this, but I'll say it one more time. The epidemiological consequences of their decisions, but also the differences in and how it'll affect the economy, because that'll also be a decision as well, right? That'll also be something as well. So wait, let me see. This is the first time that Twomad responds. All right. So Hasan Response. I originally thought this was a meme. I was wrong. Apparently there's a good deal of people on Twitter who truly think it's Sandy Hook was fake level conspiracy to repeat what the CDC openly stated, that this new lowering quarantine requirement is to protect the economy. I think it's, well, what, I mean, if that's okay, if that's all you're saying, if that's literally all that you're saying here, sure. I do think he should have said that more clearly, right? Because reading this, because I haven't heard that before, reading this, it sounds pretty concretely like he's saying that this reads like Delta asked the CDC to lower the guidelines and they did, right? Am I just stupid? It sounds like that's what he was insinuating. But I mean, I don't think that's an incorrect reading. Personally, I don't think that's incredibly crazy. Haven't seen any data that the CDC has released for the reason for lowering the guidelines. Well, they didn't say that it was safe. They said the reason why they're lowering the guidelines is to get more healthcare workers back into the hospitals. That's their stated reason, right? That's it. To help out hospitals. That's it. That's the reason why. Hasan, can you unblock my good friend Evil Wendell? He watches your streams and he was just memeing and is bummed out that you blocked him? No. Damn. Hasan's fucking evil, bro. I'd feel bad if someone sent me something like that personally. I'd feel a little bad.
The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society.
I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Honestly, I mean, like they haven't produced any data to say that this is it, but like, I don't know. Wouldn't private companies take advantage of that? Oh, like, once again, like I said, the CDC's interest here is like a functioning economy, and also like the company's interest is also a functioning economy. Just the CDC has a little bit more like to care about, which is public safety, and the companies don't really care about public safety. So that's why they've added the quarantine time, right? But the thing is that they still need the economy. We can't literally destroy the economy. We just can't. We can't do that, especially since there's not going to be any like more economic policy to come through to fix it from the House or the Senate, since they're not going to be passing shit ever again. So with that being said, it's like they have to make this decision, and he said specifically it's not risk free, but it's something that we need to have done. Right? But sure, if that's the way he's like writing the tweet and that's what he really meant in the tweet, like, okay, I'm just saying that like I wouldn't have read the tweet like that. I didn't read the tweet like that, but okay. Here, he responds.
This meme is very real.
You know, you say you were just pretending, but we all know the government balances decisions for the economy all the time, Hasan. But you imply a compromised government by corporations. So to be honest, I clapped you a bit. So chill with the Trump plandemic misinformation for a week, ye? Stun locked. Oh, he's memeing. He's memeing on him. He's memeing on him a bit. This motherfucker begged me in DMs to come on my stream like 10 minutes. And now I'm asking him to come on and it's all Twitter memes. Okay. Was Twomad hacked? What is this convo? I was not expecting Twomad to be the one to like hop out with this, you know? Figures you'd avoid literally anyone who's knowledgeable on politics. Is Twomad, like, I know Twomad talks to Dylan sometimes when it comes to foreign policy. I know that much, which is interesting. I was not expecting Twomad to be like a political frog in his spare time. You got no problem debating Twomad, Geek, XQC, and Trainwrecks, then say call me a coward in your echo chamber. Respond to what I'm saying instead of begging me to come on your stream. No, and he never replied. He's talked to J-Reg though. Interesting. So apparently they had a debate. Is that true? Is that right? Yeah, Twomad debate bro arc. Curious.
I still think the CDC is a necessary.
Let's see.
A month ago, this is nothing too long. Okay, it has been way too long since the get-go for COVID lockdowns. And that's why we're restricting it. We're lowering the restrictions to 5 days. And here's the data for it. Okay, I'm wrong. Or if the CDC comes out and says, here's the new data for it. Actually, Omicron is significantly less deadly. And Omicron, unlike the previous variants, actually tends to not impact people.
Wow.
Okay.
50 degrees.
Is he going to, did they debate or did they not debate?
For the interest of the people.
Someone
and
tell
as a matter
me.
of fact, keep in mind that people are having such a hard time coming to terms with this reality. When
Someone tell me, please.
Time for most of
now, rather than a science brief on this,
They didn't?
we're working.
Cringe.
Asked for as
Just one of the things that
Hasan
epidemiologists are said, you know, some of you
Hasan
are going
says he doesn't debate, right? Hasan did say he's like, I'm not a debater. I don't debate. So, you know, I can see that. I can see that, you know. All right, then. Hasan. Nice work, Hasan Pecker.